Hip hop, hip hop. Sorry, no, this ain't a hip hop podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Panda Podcast. It's your boy, the king of all things cute in college football, Troy McDonald, aka the Panda, coming to you solo dolo. I appreciate you turning into this podcast. If you like what we're doing, can you listen, like, comment, subscribe, and tell 3 other people you know? And have those 3 people go on and tell somebody else so they can check it out, they can like it, and they can tell 3 more people. The next thing you know, everybody knows about what we're doing over here. Hope you're having a good week. Hope everything's going well for you. Hope everything's going cool. Got some fun stuff to talk to you about today. At least I'm going to have fun talking about it because I'm very passionate about it. I'm going to talk about UCF, or to some of you that don't know what UCF is, the University of Central Florida over in Orlando. Now, I often talk to my brother about UCF because he thinks I hate UCF. Like, he thinks I legitimately hate UCF. And I'm here to tell you right now, off rip, to all you UCF fans out there, I don't hate you. I have no hate toward UCF at all. I love the color scheme. Nike has done an excellent job with your uniforms. I found out not too long ago you're the largest university in the state of Florida. You're in Orlando, which is such a beautiful area, only an hour and a half away from me here in Tampa. I know I'm in rival territory in USF, which they're going to be a part of this story as well. But I love UCF. I don't love them. I shouldn't say that. But I don't hate UCF. I don't have no problem with them. Then again, I shouldn't say I don't have a problem with them, because I do have a problem with them. I have a problem with this arrogant attitude that they have. And I'm tired of them and these American Conference teams pretending like there's some Power 6 conference. You're not a Power 6. Let's give this up. I need you to stop. I need you to chill out, and I need you to quit it. Cut it out. UCF, leave USF alone. Athletic director Danny White, he is not happy with USF because USF scheduled a 2-for-1, meaning that they go to a school 2 times, only for them to come there once. They scheduled this 2-for-1 with in-state schools, the University of Florida, the Gators. Florida's gonna come to them in 2021, and they will go to Florida, to Gainesville in 2022 and 2025. And then they have something set up with the University of Miami down there in Coral Gables. Well, they will go to Miami in 2025 and 2028, and Miami will come to Tampa in 2027. USF is okay with that. They just want some quality opponents on their schedule. They want to play teams like that. They don't mind that. You know, that they got to go to Miami twice and Florida twice, and they only come there once. They're cool with this setup. They're like, hey, we got some good in-state opponents that in games that people want to see. This is great. I like that. The people who have an issue with it is UCF. And apparently some of the other AAC schools have an issue with it as well. But UCF is at the forefront of it because they think that their conference should be above this. They don't need to play 2-for-1s. It should be straight 1-for-1s like Power 5 schools generally do with other Power 5 schools. To give you a quote from Danny White, here's what he has said. He said, "It's a precedent I don't like being set in our conference for schools to start doing a much higher volume of 2-for-1s. This is what he told Mike Bianchi of the Orlando Sentinel. As a conference, we've been successful historically getting home and homes with Power 6 opponents. I'd like to see our conference peers continue to do that as we have done." No. Your job right now, UCF, is to prove that you belong in the national championship. Now, I understand you went out and claimed the national championship, which is complete bullshit. You claimed the national championship off the Collie Matrix that you didn't really deserve because you didn't go to the playoff and you didn't play the best team. You beat a 4-loss Auburn team and you beat Memphis twice. Those are your best wins. And that thing makes you deserve a national championship? Not in my book. I will never respect that national championship. And I will continuously speak out against it because it's not no. That's not a national championship. I'm sorry. UCF, you have to go out and actually beat teams. You haven't done that the last 2 years. You haven't. What are the two best wins for UCF the last two years? I mean, looking at the 2018 schedule I have right in front of me, there's nothing. The only team that had a ranking next to their name was Cincinnati, and they played them at home, and that was the game that game day came to. They're winning at the best wins are arguably Cincinnati and at Memphis. They beat Memphis twice, which they always beat Memphis. Then they played LSU and got smacked. And they'll say, "Well, we didn't have Mackenzie Milton." Oh well, you got to win that game to prove it. It still doesn't mean you. I understand you don't have your guy, but you can't get a quality win from a loss. I've said the same thing about Georgia when they try to claim the quality win off the loss at Alabama. So I'm consistent. You go back to 2017, the undefeated season. Your best wins are Auburn and Memphis twice. But this time, both times you played Memphis, you were at home. Who are you playing in? You say we're consistent in scheduling Power 6 schools, or really it's Power 5 schools because you're not a Power 5 you're not a power conference. You're not. You scheduled Georgia Tech. That game was canceled. You played at Maryland, who, while beating Texas is impressive, they haven't made a bowl game in the last 2 years. I believe they went 5-7 last year, 4-8 the year before. So, okay, you played Maryland. You got Maryland. That's pretty good. Last year, you scheduled at North Carolina. That game was canceled. And you played Pitt at home. Pitt, who won the ACC Coastal, for whatever that's worth, was 7-7. But congratulations, you did beat a division opponent. So I'm going to be a division winner. So I'm going to be consistent like I am with Harbaugh. And I'll give you that credit. But let's be real here. This isn't all that impressive. And for you to have such an arrogant attitude as if you've done something like you've been out here beating Alabamas and all that. No, you haven't. Let's not forget, people, UCF is only 4 years removed from an 0-12 season where they lost to FIU and Furman. Let's not forget that UCF isn't Boise State. They're not TCU. They're not Utah. They're not even BYU in their heyday. UCF has had 1 good year. 2, I guess. I should be fair. 2 good years. But they haven't really gone out and challenged themselves. Let's stop this nonsense that we're above playing 2-for-1. No, you're not. You need to prove yourself more often. Boise State went out and did it. Boise State excuse me. Boise State went out and challenged themselves a lot more than you did. And they proved themselves a lot longer than you did. Let's go look back at Boise State. Oh, who, by the way, is playing Florida State in a neutral site this year. And it's not even really that neutral because they're traveling to, I believe, Jacksonville, which is clear across the country. But let's go back and look at Boise State in the heyday. Boise State in 2008, I believe, went to Oregon and beat Oregon. Oh, that Oregon team went on to go to, I believe they went on to play in a BCS bowl game. I think it might not. No, I don't think that year they did. But they were still a 10, 11 win team. And that's a big win. The next year, you guys remember this game. This was the blunt punch game. Boise State beat Oregon again when they came to Boise. So that's 2 straight years. And then Oregon went on to go to the Rose Bowl. That's 2 straight years of proving yourself against top quality opponents. 2 years. Not Pitt, not Maryland. These barely bowl eligible teams. They went out and beat Pitt. They went out and beat Oregon. Then they went on to go undefeated and beat a number 4 TCU team who was also undefeated at the time in the Fiesta Bowl. Not a 4-loss Auburn. Oh, and then let's go to the next year for Boise State, where they started off the season and they played number 10 Virginia Tech at the time, and they played at the time number 24 Oregon State. They're challenging themselves. And you know what? What happened? They lost to number 19 Nevada, led by the great one, Colin Kaepernick. They lost that game, and guess what bowl game they ended up in? The Mako Las Vegas Bowl. So even though they went out and challenged themselves with 12-1 that season, because they had one loss to a pretty good Nevada team at that time, like, that wasn't even a bad loss. But when you're Boise State and you're in these conferences, you have to consistently prove yourself and win these kind of games. You have little to no margin of error because you're not in the conference. And I understand UCF, you're trying to fight to get into the Big 12, but you're not there yet. And you can say, well, it's not fair for us. We need to get wins, and we can't attract teams, and teams don't want to always come to Spectrum Field, and they don't want to play us. You're right. They don't want to play you. They don't want to come to Spectrum Field. You are very correct in the sense that you could be a detriment to somebody's season and somebody's team. But guess what? They got the leverage. They got what you want. They are in real Power 5 conferences, playing real Power 5 teams and building real equity. You need them more than they need you. So you're not in any position to be arrogant, UCF. You need to go get a 2-for-1 if you need one. You're saying, well, we don't want to kiss the feet of Florida State, and Miami. What have you done to deserve to not do that, UCF? Claim a national title that you didn't actually win? Finally have 2 good seasons in a row after 4 years ago you went 0-12 and you were an afterthought? Explain something to me, UCF. Why are you above the rest of these Power 5, these mid-major teams? You're not. You're not Boise State. You're not. And Boise State, by the way, they're still winning 10, 11, 12 games a season to this day. But you know what? They're not getting into BCS bowl games. You want to know why? Because when they played Oklahoma State at Oklahoma State, they lost. But that Oklahoma State game that they played was a way better non-conference game than any non-conference game you played. And honestly, they're in a harder conference. They're playing Fresno State, who was ranked, Utah State, who was ranked, San Diego State, who's been perennially pretty good year in and year out. They played Troy, who's better than a lot of the opponents that you played on your regular season schedule. Sorry, UCF, you're not Boise State. Not in my book. Boise State deserves a national championship more than you do. So please spare me. But I tell you what, UCF, I'll give you this. You got Stanford coming to Spectrum Stadium this year. This is what you wanted, right? You better win that game. You better not have David Shaw and that big offensive line overpower you guys. Because if you do, if it happens, and you lose, I don't want to hear a peep from you, UCF. I don't want to hear a peep from you. And you better go out there and you better go ask Florida to put you on their schedule. Because Florida don't need you. You need them. And you need to prove that you're true champions. Not these little fake champions that rely on an outdated BCS computer that has no bearing in college football right now. Why is the Cali Matrix even running right now? The BCS is gone. We have the college football playoff. And don't get me started on that because you guys asked for the college football playoff. Us as a conglomerate college football fan asked for the college football playoff. And now you want to act like you don't want it because poor little UCF got left out. Well, that's too bad, UCF. You're not a Power 5 school. You are in the group of 5. You say that you're closer to Florida State than you are Florida Atlantic. No, you're not. You say you're closer to Miami, Florida than you are Miami of Ohio. No, you're not. You're a Power 5 school. You're a group of 5 school just like Miami of Ohio and Florida Atlantic. You're not them. And the Big 12 still don't want you. So, sorry, UCF. Go out there. Play your 2-for-1s, and even if you don't want to do a 2-for-1, let USF do their thing. USF has gotten to as high as number 2 in the BCS polls before because they went to Auburn and places like that and won big games. Let them do them. You do you. You're going to get the same result, which is you're not national champions. That's just how I see it. So what do you think? Do you think UCF has a point with being upset about USF doing 2-for-1s? Do you think group of 5 schools should try to get teams to do 1-for-1s and just and not grovel to these Power 5 schools? Let me know what you think. Once again, this is the Panda, Troy McDonald. This is the Panda Podcast. I appreciate you tuning in. Shout out to the Vibes in the Panda Hookah Lounge with no hookah. The Vibes is coming to you from UMZ's Lo-Fi Chill Hop Radio. Some music to sleep and study. If you're a student, check these channels out. Put them on while you're doing your homework and things like that. It'll probably get you through. If you're a business person, just put this on in your background and feel the vibes while you at your cubicle doing your thing. Once again, I appreciate you tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and tell 3 people you know out there about me and what we're doing over here so they can tell 3 other people and they can tell 3 other people and we can really get this thing out there. Until next time, I'm Troy McDonald the Panda, signing off. Peace! I like that right there. I'm going to let this ride out for a little bit.